sweethearts. I'm here with another video to talk to you about something that I had gone through. I had gone through a situation at this house that I live in. The Lord had worked it out, and basically He provided the provision for me to move to San Diego. So right now I live in San Diego, and I'm at the park right now. And I'm living right now at an Airbnb while I transition and get myself situated here in San Diego. But I'm living with there's basically like a house. It's a large house in a really nice, beautiful, safe neighborhood. And there's six of us total, 5 other people. So it's like a total of 6 rooms. And I'm staying there in this particular, there was an incident with one of the people that live there that is she is actually like a person who, she's a tenant. She's a person that lives there month to month. So, I don't know. I think, she might feel that she has more authority or whatever. I'm not sure. But there was an incident that happened there with her and I, where she had claimed space, because it's 6 of us in the house. So it's like all of us have a certain amount of space. She has more space because she's a tenant there. But however, the landlord, the person who runs the Airbnb, has stated that she is just like all of us. She's just on a different type. She's just month to month, basically. We and her tenants that are, she came in as an Airbnb, but the tenants that are there, the guests that are there with me now, we're all like temporary. So anyway, there was an incident where there was space on the counter where she had basically saw that I had placed things there because I had gone to the grocery store and I had come back to get rid of the things, put my groceries away, basically. So everything that was on the counter, it wasn't like it was going to be there, forever. It was just, I'm putting my things away. So basically, she grabbed my things. She like started touching my things, putting on my things, like saying like, you're in my space. This is my space, basically, and moving my things. So I literally went from 0 to 100 because I'm like, okay, don't touch my things. These are my belongings here. And I'm sure, y'all can relate that, like if it's you come in the house and, you're thinking everything is normal. You come in the house, you're going to put your things away. Yes, you live with more than, a lot of people, but at the same time, it's your things, and you're going to be putting your groceries away just like normal. But, like if you have a person, come at you, like you're in my space, and start actually picking up your things and moving your things, that can really upset you. And it upset me at the time immensely, because not only did she was just, her whole attitude and everything was just completely wrong and completely just out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere. But and it was interesting because I thought that we were, that we had made a nice connection, because we had ended up talking for like all day long. When my second day there was like this sort of quick connection built with her and I. So it was interesting to see, that the change in her attitude and her demeanor towards me. It really upset me. So this incident, I'm saying all this to basically say, I'm talking about, I'm getting to the fact that forgiveness is necessary, when you're in situations, because that situation turned into, at least basically it turned into me putting forth a complaint towards Airbnb, and really that incident actually made me start thinking about all the other complaints that I had about the Airbnb, and how I felt that there were certain things that needed to be a certain way, excuse me, and they weren't, and I just piled it all on Airbnb, and I was like, I'm gonna find another place, this is it, I'm gonna find another place. So I put forth the complaint, and like 4 days, it was 4 days of like no speaking to her in the house. I just completely, I ignored her completely. I just dismissed her like she was like a ghost walking around the house. So, and that's not, that's bearable for me, but it's still, it's not 100% of a good feeling. It's not a good feeling like, oh, you're living with someone and things, don't feel right. And sometimes, it happens that way, and that's fine. But in this situation, what happened for me was that the one night the Lord spoke to me, and God was dealing with me on this, because I felt like there was a weight on me, like because of this situation. It was like that situation, it was like a little, hill made into a mountain, because then I started thinking about all the other things that were wrong. And so it was just like a big weight on me. Like, now I got to find another place. This person is not, well in the house. This person is being this way. Now I have to deal with this. Now I got to try to find another place. Now how much money am I going to need for this? It was just like a accumulation of all this stuff. So the Lord spoke to me, and basically he was just he was just talking to me, and just it got to the point where he had told me to go into, he was actually telling me to repeat after him, basically. And I was repeating the Lord's Prayer, and I'm repeating it for every word. I don't know the Lord's Prayer by heart, but I'm repeating everything. But although I do know it, but at the time, like, I'm just repeating what the Lord is telling me, because he's talking to me. He's literally telling me, and I was writing it down, because he deals with me in that way. Like, he'll talk to me and he'll be like, write this down, and then it'll be like, Google that word, or whatever. And as he was talking to me, he was giving the Lord's Prayer, and it got to one area in the Lord's Prayer where where I felt like, well, wait a minute. Like, it was like I felt like he skipped over something, and it was just like, what is going on here? Like, who's talking to me? Really, who's talking to me? Like, Lord, are you really talking to me? Like, you're giving me the Lord's Prayer, and I know something's missing. I started feeling within myself, I started getting upset, because I'm like, I know something's missing. I don't understand, and the Lord was just, saying what he wanted to say to me. And then after he ended it, I listened to everything, but I knew something was missing. And then at the end, he said, now Google the Lord's Prayer. And when I Googled it, the Lord's Prayer, the part that he left out was about the forgiveness. To, the Lord, those that know the Lord's Prayer, I don't know it word for word right now, but got to that point where it was like, please forgive our trespasses. And then it's forgive our trespasses against, it's talking about trespasses, us needing the Lord to forgive us for our trespasses as we forgive others. That part, as we forgive others, first of all, when I read that part, as soon as I saw forgiveness, I just burst out crying. I was like, okay, Lord, all right, I got it. You know, I'm like, I got it. I get it. I understand. Because, I mean, at the time, it was like such a weight on me, because I felt like I'm here new in San Diego. I mean, I think it was probably like my second day here. And it just felt like things weren't working out in this house already. And I got to move, you know, it was just like trouble already, basically. And when the Lord dealt with me and took me to that page on my computer, on the Lord's Prayer, and I read about forgiveness, I was like, wow, like, okay, Lord, all right, okay. And here I am the whole time thinking, like, Lord, where are you sending me? You know, like, what are you giving me? Basically, you're giving me the Lord's Prayer, but something's missing. And that was really ailing me while he was talking to me. He was like, what's missing? And that was what was missing. So I am here to tell you, hearts, that look, forgive people and move on. And the Lord told me, you know, he told me he specifically said to come to this particular Airbnb. I follow everything that the Lord told me to do, as far as coming to San Diego, as far as which Airbnb to stay at. He told me, because I prayed and I fasted and I asked him and I let him guide me and lead me. So, you know, I knew that he wanted me to be here for whatever reason. And when this was happening, I was like, wow, you know, this is happening. And so what does that mean? You know, like, it was just a moment of confusion and a moment of despair. And the Lord helped me. And when I learned that through the Lord telling me, you know, of the Lord's Prayer and to forgive, not only did that happen, but he told me to write her, tell her that you forgive her. Tell her. And he said you can tell her verbally or you can write it. And I decided that I was going to write it. So I wrote her a note. I forgive you. And I put it in one of, you know, my pretty cards with glitter and so forth. I put it in that. And don't y'all know that when the very next morning, when I walked over to her, because she sits out back, she sits out in the backyard, and when I walked over to her, and I had this card in my hand, before I even gave her the card, she apologized to me. She was apologizing to me. And in my heart, I'm like, Lord, thank you, because I really needed an apology, because I didn't do anything to her. Her actions were completely unwarranted and just out of nowhere, and I didn't appreciate it, and it was mean. And we are still going through things in this house due to her, but God has given me peace, and I'm at peace with my situation about her. She apologized to me. I gave her that card. I apologized if I offended her. But it was just how the Lord spoke to me and how the Lord worked it out, you know, when dealing with me with forgiveness. Is so very important for you to forgive, get the weight off of you, you know. It takes nothing out of you. It doesn't lower you to forgive another person. It makes you closer to the Lord. It makes you closer to God. So we got the airplanes. They're so close to the sky here in San Diego. But it gets you closer to the Lord. So hearts, continue to love Jesus. Continue to let him guide you. Let him talk to you. Be open to him talking to you and letting you know how he wants you to be as a woman. He told me a number of other things that I'll share in the description. But basically, forgive people. Get it off of you, because the Lord loves you and he will help you to be strong, to be able to do that, to be able to forgive. And we know that the Lord is a Lord of justice. He's not going to, let us be looking, unless it's his will, be in a state of, of despair. With situations like with this lady, she was apologizing to me before I even gave her the card, which led me to know that the Lord was, that it was right, that, the Lord blessed me in that moment for my obedience. So I love y'all. This video is like 15 minutes or so, and I'm sorry it's long, but I love y'all, and I hope that you just continue to forgive people and let the Lord lead you and guide you in your situations of despair. Okay? All right. Bye.